So now I'm going to talk about the plant cell. I've already prepared a little drawing here so that the video won't be too long. And what we're going to do today is we're going to label it together. And I highly recommend that you've watched the video about the animal cell first, because in that video I'm drawing it, and then you already know many of the structures, because I would say most of them are pretty much the same, similar and the same. So this here is a drawing of how many plant cells. Well, you see, well, one, no, there I've attached another one over here to show you that plant cells, well, in many cases are not isolated, but they are connected together. And look where they touch over here. Do you see this black dark line on the outside? Yeah, that is the cell wall, and different plant cells, they touch and are connected to each other over the cell wall. But what we're going to do here is we're going to go through the plant cell, and I'm going to again add some of those labels over here. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put a focus on the let's say 3 or 4 most important differences between plant and animal cells. Okay, and one of the things I already talked about, and that is the cell wall, the presence of a cell wall. So I've made over here already a labeling line, and now I have to find cell wall over here somewhere on the, here it is, see, right here at the top. So I'm going to add cell wall here on the top. And the second important difference, you see this large structure on the inside here, that is a large central vacuole, which completely almost fills completely almost the whole cell. Yeah, and this large central vacuole that we have over here, is storing water and minerals and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to include vacuole. Yeah, I did not make a labeling line now. I simply am going to, because there's so much space, I can actually place the label directly in here. And the third important difference is that plant cells, not all of them, but many of them, at least those that do photosynthesis, they have chloroplasts. And this is the cell organelle over here. This is a chloroplast. Now, these are the 3 most important differences. However, there is a 4th important difference, and that is that plant cells do not have lysosomes. Lysosomes are those little small structures that contain digestive enzymes. The reason is because plant cells, they are able to make their own food, and they do not have to digest organic material which they obtain from the outside. So these 3 important differences are the ones that we should really definitely remember. However, I'm going to show you that there are many other cell organelles in here that are actually the same. Many of them you already know because you've watched my previous video. Of course, over here we have the nucleus. Where is the nucleus? Over here. So I can actually go through that relatively quickly. Remember, the nucleus has a double membrane. The chloroplast also has a double membrane. You might want to remember that. And also the mitochondrion over here has a double membrane. So these are the 3 cell organelles with a double membrane. So where is the mitochondrion? Wow, oh, here it is. Found it. Yeah. Plural mitochondria. Okay, it's of course possible, not only possible, but very likely that there are several mitochondria in a cell, and also many chloroplasts, obviously. I mean, there are a lot of chloroplasts inside this cell. Are there some plant cells that don't have chloroplasts? Sure, there are. Those that don't do photosynthesis. For example, the cells of a root in the ground. There is no light there. So, it's not, they don't have chloroplasts. And so in other words, all green parts of a plant, they have chloroplasts. So the nucleus, then of course we have the DNA inside the nucleus over here. Okay, this structure over here with the little dots on it, that's the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So here it is, the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Not enough space. See, always plan out your drawings. Yeah, but you get the idea. You remember what those dots are? Those dots on the RER, and those dots floating around freely over here and over here. These are ribosomes. Yeah, these are also ATS ribosomes. Yeah, so I'm going to include it here. Yeah. The ribosomes, some of them are free, some of them are on the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Those things here, of course, plants also need to transport substances around the vesicles. Okay, so let's add the vesicle over here. And those 2 over here, this is supposed to be, I don't know, it's not a very nice drawing. This is supposed to be the Golgi apparatus. Yeah. And this one over here is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. And this one here, do you actually see this part over here? That is the cytoplasm. So you see that the cytoplasm is squeezed between the vacuole, the plasma membrane, and the cell wall. Yeah? So the plasma membrane, is I forgot to label the plasma membrane, and I don't have a label for cytoplasm. How is this? Okay. This is really disappointing. So what I have is the plasma membrane. I forgot to label that, so I have to add this. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to. It's kind of difficult to see a little bit, so I'm going to. I don't know if I should bend it around. No, that's not a good idea. To kind of point to the inside here. So we have to be really careful here that the labeling is very clear, because sometimes in an exam situation, if you are not very clear, then the examiner is not able to see the difference. Is the line pointing now to the plasma membrane or to the cell wall? Yeah? So this is, and bend lines is not something good. So I don't really know how to do this. Yeah, but it's supposed to really point to the plasma membrane, which is this inside over here. Okay, that's the plasma membrane. It's very thin, so yeah. Okay, plasma membrane. And why did I not include the cytoplasm? And I don't know where my label is. Okay, I'm super well prepared. So what you have to do in your drawing now is you have to add another label somewhere over here, and point to the cytoplasm. Now, the cytoplasm is not a cell organelle, of course, but neither is the cell wall, and also not the plasma membrane. Yeah, but you want to add, of course, cytoplasm here. Okay, so this is basically now the drawing of a plant cell, and what we're now going to do is we're now going to make a comparison table between plant and animal cells. Yeah, so that's basically the next thing. I found the cytoplasm. It fell on the floor. Here it is. Okay. So now let's talk about the differences between plant and animal cells. And every time when you compare something, I recommend that you do some kind of a comparison table. And there are now 3 columns, as a matter of fact. We've got 1 column over here for plant cells. 1 column over here for animal cells. I should have made it a little bit smaller in size. And then, what about here? We're missing something over here, yeah. Because what I would like to mention over here is the different aspects that you want to compare between plant and animal cells. So I need some kind of a label here as well. Maybe the word aspect or criterion. Maybe that is fine. The aspect that you would like to compare. So let's write down aspect. Okay, the aspect being compared. So sometimes you can also write down criterion or item, maybe, the item being compared. So now let's have a look here at some of the important things. And as a matter of fact, I already mentioned this just a few minutes ago. And if you recall, one of the important differences is the presence of a cell wall. Now, what some people are saying is, and that is wrong, plant cells have a cell wall, animal cells have a cell membrane. This is something that I hear quite often, and that is wrong. Both plant and animal cells have a cell membrane or a plasma membrane. Okay, but only plant cells have a cell wall. So the aspect is presence of a cell wall. So you can write down for plant cells yes. Okay, and for animal cells no. Okay. So what about chloroplasts? How do you like the following? Plant cells have chloroplasts, animal cells have mitochondria. Is wrong, because plant cells also have mitochondria. Yeah. So we have to write it differently. You have to say the presence of chloroplasts. Okay. And in the case of a plant cell or many plant cells, it's yes, and in animal cells is no. Okay. And what about the next one? What about vacuoles? Plant cells have a vacuole, animal cells do not. Is not correct, is incorrect. Animal cells also have vacuoles, food vacuoles, for example, but they are smaller, and sometimes there are several of them. Yeah. So the question is now, which type of, how are we going to write the aspect? And my suggestion would be maybe the type of vacuole, or the size of vacuole would also be fine. So plant cells, they have a large central vacuole. Okay, and animal cells, they can have several smaller ones. smaller vacuoles, okay? Now, I think that these three are the most important differences. Of course, there are more differences. I'm going to tell you another fourth one here, and it's the presence of lysosomes. And in this case, plant cells, they do not have lysosomes. And animal cells do, because lysosomes, they carry digestive enzymes that break down food. But animal cells, they are able to take up food and break it down. But plant cells, they do photosynthesis, they make their own organic food, and therefore they do not need those digestive enzymes. But I would say that the first three of them are really important. I've simply added the fourth one for sake of completion. Yes, there are more differences in a different video when I talk about mitosis. Cytokinesis is different. The presence of centrioles is different. So there are several other things, but I think if you focus on those, then we'll be fine. Okay, so this basically was everything that I wanted to say in this video. Do please make sure that the table is also in your notebook. Memorize it, because the differences between plant and animal cells is a very common question. I wish you all the best, and bye-bye.